mad, crazy, insane, Verruckt. All words to describe the feeling this map gives you. The map is just like Knocked. It's claustrophobic, it's close quarters, it's fast-paced, it's creepy. However, all in different ways. Welcome back to Zombies Deep Dive. If you haven't watched the first episode on Nocturne and Toten, be sure to check that out. Anyways, let's begin. Right from the get-go, Verruckt is a completely different map than Nocturne and Toten. To start, there are now 2 starting rooms, and you are separated from your teammates until much later in the game. This sets in the immediate tone of fear, but it's not the same fear from Knocked. In Knocked, that fear is that of the unknown. In Verruckt, that fear is the fear of what is known. Unlike Knocked, where zombies take their time to linger in the distance, Verruckt has zombies spawning straight away and in your face. The rush of confusion of separating teams and fast zombie spawn sets the tone of the map straight away. Only power will reunite us. The 2 sides of each map are balanced in a weird way. The left side is close quarters and tight, but also only has 3 doors to power. It also has the 2 offensive perks. The right side is a bit more open, but has more doors required to open to power, and also has the more support-leaning perks. Again, going from the left spawn to power is more difficult, but takes less time, and going from the right spawn to power is easier, but takes more time. It's weirdly balanced, as all things should be. Verruckt also introduced some staples to zombies. The first and most obvious is the perk machines. 4 perk machines, in fact, in the form of Juggernog, which increases your health, Double Tap, which increases your rate of fire, Speed Cola, which increases your reload speed, and Quick Revive, which increases your revive speed. Keep in mind, in the original World of War version, Quick Revive did not revive you on solo. These 4 buffs to your character in a vacuum are extremely helpful, but in a space like Verruckt, these are just small buffers to your eventual death. It's the small difference between making it to, say, round 10 and round 12. It's simply not enough. Verruckt eventually catches up with you and crushes you to your eventual end. These perks are iconic in their own right, but when you think about the perks, you don't really think about them originating in Verruckt. Unlike when you think of Pack-a-Punch, you think of it originating in Derice. Personally, I believe this is because there isn't really a grand reveal of the perks. They are just kind of plopped there in seemingly random spots. Sure, around the map you see posters for the perks, but I think this would have been cooler if it was a tease for the next map. In Shinonuma, the perk machines have a grand reveal, and it would have been really cool to see these weird concepts on the walls of an insane asylum. And keen-eyed players paying attention to the posters would know the perk's abilities immediately. I personally think that only the trap should have been introduced in Verruckt. I mean, think about it. What's the one thing we see as a first in Verruckt? It's the power, the electricity, you know, the thing the traps emit. This is really what Verruckt is known for anyways, especially as it is the main strategy for high-round gameplay. This would have been a great way to introduce mechanics slowly map by map as it all culminated in Derice. Verruckt is unlike any other zombies experience. Most other zombie maps start out slow and take hours to complete. But in Verruckt, if you are not on your A game, that match is going to last mere minutes. There is no end to the blitz of fast-paced zombie killing you will get on this map. At least in World of War, there are no wonder weapons, except of course the ray gun. But even the ray gun, with its splash damage, will eventually catch up with you and kill you. Verruckt is the perfect map for a quick game of, let's say you only have 20 minutes to play. Now, in terms of atmosphere, this map is just downright horrifying. Now, again, in the modern zombie context, and since I'm older, this map just isn't scary in any right, but I imagine 9-year-old me playing this and pooping my pants. Luckily, I was raging at Mario Kart Wii instead. Anyways, the sanatorium halls have a dark presence within. Constant horrific screams and crying children just never end, and to top it all off, when you turn on the power, there's just this. Yeah, that. The barrage of sounds, the bloody writing on the wall, the leaking water covering your screen, it's all sensory overload. There's also the other parts of the map's environment that add even more to the story. The forest and surrounding villages are constantly on fire, which is a great way to tell that there was a battle here recently. There's also the power room, which is just downright maniacal. Even dedicated power stations in other zombie maps aren't as devious as this. The power switch is of course a classic, but the room it's in has a blinding electrical generator, not to mention the eerie loss numbers being read out. This barrage of information, on top of all the zombies rushing on you, culminates to the map's namesake. It's just insane. So Verruckt has a lot going for it, so why isn't it highly regarded? I think it's just outdone and overshadowed in every aspect. When you think of Verruckt, you think of a few things. A difficult map with a scary atmosphere and is simple to pick up and play. Shangri-La is a far harder map in many regards, and maps like Mob of the Dead and Zetsubou have some pretty creepy atmospheres. And maps like Doris and Kino are way easier to pick up and understand. Another reason it's not aged well is the same reasons as Noct. It's a primitive World at War map, and there isn't a lot going for it. The map is small and bare bones in today's standards, so there's not really much of a reason to go back and play it besides the challenge. And speaking of challenge, we already sort of talked about how hard this map is, but it's at times just unfair. There is no counter to anything this map throws at you. The only thing you can really do is manipulate the spawns, which is why I imagine the replayability of this map was very low as well, even back in the day. This map is so hard for an entire community of newcomers to the idea of COD zombies that it's basically impossible to get past round 20. What is the point of playing if you're not going to get much better? I also think that, just like Noct, this map has been redone to death. Not to the levels of Noct, but it's pretty dang close. Verruckt has not only appeared as zombie maps, but also a multiplayer map. It was in Black Ops 1, Revelations, Chronicles, Blackout, and up until Firebase Z was released, there were some pretty serious rumors going around that every Cold War map was just going to expand on World at War maps. Overall, Verruckt is a challenging, ruthless, unforgiving map with a fast turnaround rate. The atmosphere is near perfection and is chilling even today. And the map introduced classic staples that would follow in every map afterwards, which is why I'm giving Verruckt a 5.3 out of 10. D tier.